Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. Shalom to the whole Bayit of Yasher all 12 tribes worldwide, wherever your feet are touching the soil. Shalom to Yehuda. Shalom to Ephraim. Shalom to the former stranger, the former foreigner, the former ger, who was once formerly estranged from the everlasting covenant, but now having received the Ruach of adoption, the Ruach HaKadosh, who is Yahusha HaMashiach, and whereby now being engrafted into the olive tree, who is Yahusha HaMashiach, who is Yasher All, and whereby now being privy to the same everlasting promise, covenant, and inheritance that was given to Yasher All and to Yasher All alone. Shalom to you. My name is Miriam. Peace and blessings and barakut to you and your entire house. Barak Yahuwah. There is a message for the house of Yasher All this day, and I pray, house of Yasher All, that you shema, that you hear and you take heed. That you take heed. If you have any discernment, you notice that the days have sped up tremendously, and the time is now hastening to an appointed time, towards an appointed end. The time is quickly, house of Yasher All, coming to an end. And if you have eyes to see, ears to hear, you can hear the war drums. You can hear the war drums, because in fact, war is coming. War is coming. Famine, a scarcity of food is coming. Death being Hashatan, he is coming. He's coming in a very, very short while, and he's going to come and he's going to put on flesh, and he's coming to claim what belongs to him. And in this season, house of Yasher All, there is so much bickering. Listen, there's so much bickering amongst his people, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. The bickering, the hate, the unending debating, the slandering, the gossiping against one another. It has got to end. It has to stop, house of Yasher All. Many of you should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourselves, calling yourselves the children of Yahuwah, if you are indeed operating in this manner. The master said, this people, they draw near to me with their mouth, and they respect me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me, and in vain do they worship me. You are liars. Some of you are liars, and you're far from the master, and he does not know you. He doesn't know you. We are supposed to be servants of reconciliation, house of Yasher All. We are supposed to be a light amongst the nations, to show the nations what it looks like, to be tangible examples, and to show the nations what it looks like to be kadush and separated to the master, and to bring the nations out of darkness into his marvelous light. But in order to be that light, to be that living Torah, we need to be born from above. We need to be reborn, not of flesh and blood, but born of water and of spirit. We need to be examples, house of Yasher All, to the rest of the nations, and we need to get this right, because the name of Yahuwah, it is being blasphemed amongst the nations because of many of you. The striving, the bickering, the hate, the quarreling, it's got to end. It's got to end, and not all are sent. Not all are sent. Not all are called to speak. And if you're not called to speak, and if you're not called to proclaim, why are you opening that hole in your face? You're acting like little children throwing temper tantrums. And Yahuwah, he's calling men. He's calling men to work. He's calling grown women to work, and he's separating the men from the boys, and he's separating the women from the girls. You need to grow up, house of Yasher All, because none of us have made it. None of us have made it. We need to humble ourselves and walk like the Ancient of Days and be extensions, being extensions of the Master, of Yahusha HaMashiach. Listen, if you are truly, truly of him and truly born of him, indeed, you will take on his very nature. You will take on his very nature and his very character. You will look like him. You will talk like him. You will walk like him. You will be true manifestations of the Torah as he was. And we need to stop the bickering. We need to stop the quarreling. We need to stop the slandering and the hate and the gossiping. Yahusha did not operate in this manner. Yahusha did not bicker. Yahusha, he did not strive. He in fact, he said what he had to say, and he continued on. He said, let the dead bury the dead. We must be, house of Yasharal, servants of righteousness, and walk as one fully grown. This is a season, house of Yasharal. It is too important. It is too important to be walking in this. It is too important to be walking in our flesh, the arguing and the bickering. You can do all the bickering. Listen, you can do all the bickering, all the striving, all the quarreling you like. But unless you have eaten of his flesh and you have drank of his blood, you have no life in you. You have no life in you. We need to stop. We need to stop the bickering, house of Yasharal, and be servants. Be true servants of righteousness. Be servants of righteousness and be a light. Be a light to the nations and allow the Master to save others through you. We must be imitators of Mashiach. We must be imitators of him and eat the children's bread. The Ruach HaKadosh, Yahusha HaMashiach. We need to eat of him and drink of him and walk as adults and walk as one grown. Because listen to me, some of you ought to be teachers. Not all of you are teachers, because not many should become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter or harsher judgment. Not all are teachers. Not all are teachers. Not all are meant to proclaim. Not all are meant to teach, to be anointed to teach, to be anointed to proclaim. In order to teach, you must be anointed to teach. You must be anointed to proclaim, to teach his righteous Torah. We must be anointed to do these things. So please quit behaving as children. Quit behaving as little children. Quit the bickering, quit the arguing, the slandering, the bickering, the arguing, the debating, the gossiping, because you're just showing your fruit. The hour of trial, house of Yasharal, it draws near. It draws near. You're operating as little children, many of you. Thus the Master, he declared that tax collectors and whores are going to enter before some of you Pharisees. You need to stop. Stop the hate. Stop the quarreling. Stop the bickering. Let us be, house of Yasharal, living menorahs, that we may draw people, his people, the nations, out of darkness. Do our duty as being servants of reconciliation. Because if we do not serve as we serve while it's still day, when the Master comes, he's going to command his servants to bind many of you hand and foot, to throw you into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Be servants of righteousness, house of Yasharal, servants of reconciliation. Be a dutiful servant. Do as you were called to do. But the bickering, the quarreling, the slandering, the gossiping, the hate, this is not of Yahuwah. You're just showing your fruit and you're not his. Teshubah this day, the hour of trial, the hour of darkness, house of Yasharal, it draws nigh. Barak Yahuwah. Shalom.